I cleaned the entire house daily for my husband's family. One afternoon, I walked in to find them laughing as they filmed me scrubbing the floor, captioning it, "Our free maid." When they went out for dinner, I made one change they never saw coming. I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who let herself be walked on. I was raised by a single mom in Tucson. She taught me early, no one's gonna hand you respect. You earn it. You speak up. You take care of your own. I believed that for most of my life. But somehow, when I met Daniel, I forgot all of it. Daniel was charming in a quiet, steady kind of way. The first time we talked, he made me feel like I was the only woman in the room. We were both almost 30, tired of dating games, and we clicked fast. Within a year, we were engaged. He had this calm energy that made me believe I was finally safe, like I'd found my person. What I didn't realize then was I hadn't just married Daniel. I'd married his entire damn family. Right after the wedding, his mom Cheryl suggested we move into the Tempe house.
It was temporary, she said.
Rent-free. Just a smart way to save money while we looked for something of our own. Think of it as your starter nest, she told me, smiling like she already knew the answer. Daniel agreed right away. I didn't push back. I wanted to be the easy one. The team player. That was my first mistake. The house was bigger than anything I'd ever lived in. 2 stories for bedrooms, lots of light. It felt like a prize. But within weeks, it started to feel like a stage. Cheryl still had a key, and she used it like it was hers. Krista, Daniel's older sister, stayed over constantly, supposedly because of her nursing shifts. Mike, the younger brother, would swing by whenever he wanted, eat whatever he found, leave his crap everywhere, and disappear without a word. It was like living with squatters who believed they owned the place. At first, I tried to keep the peace. I cleaned up after them. I restocked the fridge. I folded laundry that wasn't mine. I scrubbed the guest bathroom after Cheryl's weekend stays. I was raised to be helpful, not to complain. But over time, it became expected. If I left dishes in the sink for more than an hour, Cheryl would make comments. If I didn't vacuum the rug before guests came over, Krista would accidentally drop a passive-aggressive remark about how Mom always kept this place spotless. Mike once looked me dead in the eyes after tracking mud across the kitchen tile and said, "I'll let you handle that." Daniel? He was blind to it. Every time I brought it up, he'd downplay it. It's just how they are. They don't mean anything by it. It's not worth the fight. So I stopped complaining. And I just worked. I cleaned every single day. Scrubbed tile grout with a toothbrush. Polished silverware that wasn't even ours. Organized storage closets. Steam-cleaned carpets. And I did it without so much as a thank you. What finally broke me happened on a random Tuesday. I got off work early. Thought I'd surprise Daniel with dinner. I had a box of his favorite chocolate chip cookies. I was even humming as I walked up the driveway. The front door was slightly ajar, so I walked in quietly. They didn't know I was home. Cheryl, Krista, and Mike were in the living room, sitting on the couch, hunched over Krista's phone. I was about to say hi when I heard my own voice coming from the screen. I paused. It was a video of me, on my hands and knees, scrubbing the entryway floor. The camera was hidden, filmed from behind the cracked door. You could see me muttering to myself, focused, sweating, wiping down baseboards. It had a caption across the top. Our free made face with tears of joy. Krista was laughing so hard she snorted. I should post this on TikTok, she said. People eat this shit up. Cheryl chimed in. She actually thinks we like her. Mike added. She's too dumb to get it. Look at her. All proud of herself. I stood there frozen. Cookies in one hand. Car keys in the other. It felt like my body didn't know what to do next. I didn't say a word. I turned around, walked out, and drove 2 blocks down to a park near the highway. I sat on a wooden bench in the shade and just stared ahead. I didn't cry. I couldn't even feel my face. My brain was cycling through everything, every chore, every smile, every stupid moment I tried to be part of that family. They weren't family. They were cruel. That night, they went out to dinner. Just the family, of course. Daniel told me last minute. Sorry, babe, it's kind of a tradition. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. That was the last thing he ever said to me in that house. While they were gone, I moved fast. I packed a single suitcase, bare essentials, nothing more. Grabbed all my documents, laptop, passport. Then I logged into our joint savings account. We'd been putting money into it for nearly 2 years. I moved half my half into my own account, but the most important move came next. In the upstairs hall closet was a fireproof lockbox. Daniel had always said it was just boring paperwork. But one night months back, he drunkenly mentioned something about his mom transferring ownership of the house. I opened the closet, took photos of the lockbox label. I didn't need to open it. The label told me everything I needed to know. Property trust, 100% ownership. Daniel Starr. The house wasn't shared. It wasn't partially owned by the family. It was Daniel's. Fully. Cheryl had signed it over. And no one ever told me. I had cleaned his house like a servant. I had done all of it under the lie that this was our home. That night, I walked out and never looked back. But I didn't disappear. I just got very quiet and very patient. Because if there's one thing I learned growing up, you don't scream when someone burns you. You rebuild brick by brick and wait for the exact right moment to set the fire yourself. After I left that house, I stayed with my cousin in Mesa. She didn't ask questions, just gave me a spare room and quiet space. I slept for almost 14 hours straight the first night. My body felt like it had finally stopped bracing for war. The next few days, I did what needed to be done. I met with a lawyer, divorce attorney first. I laid everything out. The video, the financials, the house documents. He was calm, efficient, and very clear. This isn't going to be messy, he said. It's going to be surgical. I nodded. That's what I wanted. No drama. Just precision. While the papers were being drafted, I started documenting. Every text, every email, every photo of me cleaning their house. My attorney helped me gather a timeline. 2 years of unpaid labor under a false understanding of shared property. I had proof they misled me into thinking I was a co-owner in our future. That kind of false pretense? It matters in court. Daniel called me 3 days after I left. Where are you? He asked, half panicked, half annoyed. I'm safe, I said. And I've seen the video. Silence. Then, it was a joke. They didn't mean it. You're overreacting. I hung up. He sent a few more texts. Then nothing. A week later, he was served. The divorce was just the beginning. Through my lawyer, we filed a claim for unjust enrichment, arguing that I had provided labor under the assumption of shared property, and they profited off my work. In Arizona, that can carry weight. Especially when paired with emotional distress supported by recordings and social media posts. I wasn't going after Daniel just for money. I was going after the illusion they built. The second wave hit when we subpoenaed the house's trust documents. Cheryl hadn't just transferred it to Daniel. She did it using a trust that bypassed marital community property laws, clearly trying to keep me out. My lawyer flagged it. The court allowed us to introduce it as evidence of intent to exclude me from shared assets despite my contributions. Krista made it worse. She posted another video, not of me this time, but of her ranting about gold diggers who think doing chores means they deserve real estate. My attorney got a copy before it was deleted. That went straight into our evidence packet. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. I got a job. I reconnected with old friends. I told my side of the story slowly, carefully when people asked. I never trashed them online. Never made a scene. But I made sure their world started shrinking. Mike lost his part-time gig when the HR rep at his company saw the video of me on the floor and Krista laughing in the background. It violated their conduct policy, mocking someone doing labor in a private home. Cheryl stopped getting invited to her volunteer board events once word spread. People didn't say it out loud, but they distanced themselves. Daniel? He started emailing me, first angry, then desperate. Can we talk? This isn't who we are. You're blowing it all out of proportion. I never responded. The day we went to mediation, he looked 10 years older. Bags under his eyes. No wedding ring. Krista didn't come. Cheryl sat on the far end of the room with a cold glare. The terms? I walked away with a full financial settlement, including retroactive compensation for 2 years of unpaid domestic labor. I didn't touch the house. But I did one last thing before we finalized. I gave my lawyer permission to send the footage and timeline, everything, to the Arizona Family Law Association. Not to sue them further. Not for vengeance. But because they weren't just cruel, they were calculated. And I wanted the record to show it. Their reputation wasn't mine to fix. But it sure as hell wasn't mine to protect anymore. 3 months after the court settlement, I had almost settled into a quiet life again. I was renting a small apartment near South Mountain. No frills, just clean and quiet. I'd started working full-time as an admin assistant for a real estate brokerage. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid enough to keep me stable. Then one evening, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. No name, just a screenshot. It was a Tinder profile. Daniel. Same photo he used on our wedding website. Same bio. Loves hiking. Owns his own home. Looking for something real. The message under it said, "You were right to leave."
I didn't know he was married.
I'm so sorry. My heart dropped. I replied, and the woman, her name was Tanya, sent me more. Messages. Texts. Photos. They'd been seeing each other off and on for over a year. He told her he was separated but living together for financial reasons. She never questioned it. He even brought her to the house once, while I was at work. She recognized it from a photo I posted on Instagram 2 years ago and put it together. She thought I deserved to know. I thanked her. Then I asked, "Did Krista or Cheryl ever meet you?" She answered quickly.
Yes.
Krista made a joke about how Daniel finally found someone who doesn't nag. I thought she meant his ex-girlfriend. That's when everything clicked. They all knew.
Krista.
Cheryl. Maybe even Mike. The reason they treated me like help? The reason they laughed at me, mocked me, acted like I didn't matter? Because in their eyes, I wasn't the wife. I was the placeholder. I was the maid who didn't realize her shift ended months ago. It made sense now, why they looked at me like I was delusional. Why they never wanted me at dinners or family events. They knew Daniel was cheating. They knew the end was coming. And instead of helping me see it, they filmed me scrubbing the damn floor. That night, I sat at my kitchen table for hours. I wasn't crying. I was shaking. Not from heartbreak, but from sheer disbelief at how deep the betrayal really ran. Then I remembered something I hadn't followed up on. Back when we moved into the house, Cheryl had me sign a few documents. Just paperwork for insurance, she said. I didn't question it then. But I still had a photo of one of the forms she'd left on the counter. I'd taken it as a reminder to finish filling it out. I looked closer. It wasn't insurance. It was a non-ownership acknowledgement, essentially a document stating I had no legal or equitable claim to the property. They never submitted it anywhere, but they tried. And that told me exactly what I needed to know. They had planned to cut me out from the beginning. So, I made a decision. I reached out to Tanya again. I told her everything, politely, calmly, factually. I gave her the legal documents, the video, and a copy of the settlement agreement. I didn't tell her what to do, but she asked me if she could share it. I said yes. And within a week, the full story minus names ended up in a private Facebook group for local women in Tempe. I didn't post it.
Tanya did.
She titled it, "If He Lies to You, Let His Past Speak." The fallout was instant. Daniel tried to spin it, but Krista's video and Mike's comments didn't help his case. Clients at the tech firm where he worked started pulling contracts. One HR rep messaged Tanya privately. They didn't like having a known harasser and property manipulator representing their services. He lost his job a month later. Cheryl and Krista tried to control the damage. But you can't unring a bell. Especially not in a community as connected as ours. They thought they could humiliate me and move on. But the truth has a way of cleaning house better than I ever could. After Daniel lost his job, the silence from his family was deafening. No texts, no calls. Not even an email trying to guilt me into stopping this smear campaign, as Krista called it when she finally cracked and sent a late-night rant to my work email. I forwarded it to HR with a short note. Unwanted contact from ex-in-laws. No response needed, just documenting. She never wrote again. But it didn't end there. Turns out Daniel didn't just lose his job, he lost his house too. That trust Cheryl set up? It was airtight, but it also had clauses. Very specific ones. Including something Daniel must have never read. A forfeiture clause that could be triggered by legal entanglements or reputational damage. And guess what? When the unjust enrichment and emotional distress claims went public, even as part of a settlement, it was enough to activate that clause. Cheryl was forced to reabsorb the property into the family trust. Daniel was effectively kicked out of his own home. Mike had already moved out by then. Krista tried to move in, but she got served with a warning from the HOA. Her social media videos had drawn attention. No one wanted her living there anymore. She'd made the neighborhood look trashy, and in that community, reputation meant resale value. Within 6 months, Cheryl had to sell the house. It went on the market at a loss. I watched the listing go live from my apartment. Same photos I had once taken for our future listing. Same baseboards I scrubbed on my knees while they laughed at me behind a door. The final blow came quietly. Tanya wasn't the only woman Daniel had lied to. A second woman reached out, then a third. Tanya put them in touch with me, and we compared timelines. Daniel had been stringing all of us along, using the same lines, the same excuses, even the same weekends. He was sloppy and arrogant. I didn't post anything publicly, but Tanya did. So did the other two. One even filed a small claim against him for fraud after discovering he'd taken money from her for a business investment, while still married to me. Daniel went from clean-cut tech guy to unemployable scandal in less than a year. But I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate online. I didn't even block them. I just muted everything. I moved on. I used my settlement to buy a small 2-bedroom house in Chandler. It's modest, but it's mine.
No hidden clauses.
No shared ownership.
No fake promises.
Sometimes I still scrub the baseboards. But now I do it in silence. Peaceful silence. The kind that comes when you know no one's watching. And no one's laughing anymore. Because they thought they were filming The Help. But what they really captured was the beginning of their own unraveling. And I made damn sure every frame cost them exactly what it was worth.